day 36th of the war that is now being marked. And this day could possibly be the biggest turning point in the war so far. Why? Because now Iranian media has been claiming that a US fighter jet has been shot down and its pilot has been captured. Now, this seems to be a very dramatic escalation in this war that has taken place in West Asia. Another fighter jet seems to have crashed near the Strait of Hormuz. And this is now coming in where the lone pilot was rescued. But this, as American officials have launched as far as when it comes to search operations is concerned, for the first jet that seems to have been downed by the Iranian forces. Now, this seems to be, when it comes to 24 hours of epic fire and fury that seems to have been witnessed. Does Iran now have an upper hand? Because this seems to be the warning or threat that came in from President Trump's side, saying that they would hit and bomb Iran to such an extent that it will go back to Stone Age. Now, let's tell you exactly what the Iranian state media have been reporting. They have been saying that F-15E Strike Eagle has been shot down over Iran. Let's get you the details, because what has now been claimed by the reports coming in from Iranian media saying that the crew has been rescued. One of them, however, still remains unaccounted for. Now, this seems to be as far as the rescue operations is concerned, because immediately it was launched. As far as HH-60W rescue helicopters that were pressed into service, they too came under attack. And they seem to have been also hit during the rescue mission. However, the crew is reported to be safe. Some of them may have had certain injuries or wounds. Then, A-10 Thunderbolt II, another one, what has now been claimed by the Iranian media, saying that that too has been hit. However, the pilot is reported to be safe. Then an F-16 fighter jet, mid-air emergency. However, when it comes to the fighter jet here, seems to have landed safely. Then let's talk about KC-135 tanker 1-2 emergency. However, that was declared, but what is being said that the details are still not very clear. So as far as back-to-back blows that the US military now seems to be facing in this ongoing operation, well, of course, as President Trump says, that right now, the biggest and the greatest militaries in the world would be that of the United States of America. But this seems to be the pounding that it seems to be receiving on part of Iran's side as well. Who would have thought that a fighter jet pilot of the US military would be captured on part of Iran? Because those were the initial reports that have come. But later on, the reports certainly changed. And as far as the whereabouts of the second pilot are still not known, but this incident certainly would give Iran the edge if there is a prisoner of war, if an American prisoner of war is caught on their soil. Now, this seems to be international laws. Will it now come into effect? Will it be any dialogues or trading as far as when it comes to having the safe passage of the pilot? Or will Iran thereafter keep certain conditions? Meantime, take a look. What are we now looking at? And this is courtesy IRIB, which is the state-run media of Iran. Because what has now been said, according to the news agencies that have been reporting, in the last 24 hours alone, there has been Operation Epic Fury by US, but this seems to be fire and fury that seems to have been returned on part of Iran. US warplanes have been hit, they have been downed, and they have been damaged, according to Iranian state media reports. So what has now been suggested? F-15E, that has been struck down, and this is now coming in over Iran, where the crew has been rescued, but however, one still remains unaccounted for. There is still no information that is now being said to be known of when it comes to this downed crew member. Let's connect with Major General Shashi Asthana. He's joining us here on the broadcast. Sir, good morning. What do you believe that in the last 24 hours may have changed or turned the tables? You know, as far as Iran, do you believe that has still the edge as far as this war is concerned? Today, it is being marked as the 36th day, sir.
See, on 36th day, if the jets are going down, that means President Trump's claim that their air force is dead, their air defense is dead, and it's all wiped out. I think that claim looks small and fake. So therefore, I think Iran has certain capabilities which have not been destroyed. Iran's terrain, which is mountainous, which has folds, which has tunnels, they have perhaps kept their platforms and as military assets in a manner that everything cannot be destroyed just by bombing. So therefore, I think there are certain capabilities which they have, which they retain, and with that, I think they have the capability to hit back. So by now, the Americans also must understand, and so should their Arab allies should understand that if you destroy or go to destroy the infrastructure, that is critical infrastructure, it is going to be tit for tat destruction the other side as well. So with the result, perhaps the whole in the escalation ladder, everybody will get destruction and degradation both sides.
Yes, sir.
And now that this is a dangerous stand as far as the civil infrastructure is concerned, I think it will get destroyed both sides. So I think some people should see sense now.
Because Iran, sir, seems to be identifying what it deems to be legitimate war targets as far as not just when it comes to US, but also even when it comes to the allies of the US. So civilian infrastructure seems to be the next target as this war seems to be expanding to another level. Asthana, sir, appreciate you joining us here on the broadcast, because when we are looking at these pictures that have been coming in, because this seems to be back-to-back as far as when it comes to the capability of the Iranian forces now concerned, that seems to have now been on display in the last 24 hours alone. But as far as this doesn't seem to be a conventional war that is now being fought. Wars at different levels that are being fought. When it comes to the war of words, when it comes to cyber war, when it comes to information warfare, we are looking at multiple ways that this war is being fought. Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Ghalibaf have now mocked even the United States for a so-called brilliant no-strategy war. There seems to be a post on X, and imagine, the X, as far as, American company here is concerned, seems to be the very platform that the Iranian leader seems to be using to take on President Donald Trump. Now, on this fighter jet that seems to have apparently been shot down over southwestern Iran, the Iranian leader seems to be ridiculing President Donald Trump for repeatedly claiming that Iran has been defeated in the war, because now he is questioning, well, is this your war strategy? Are you a genius? Look what we are doing to you. Seems to be an apparent jibe or a taunt that is now coming in from the Iranian leader. Now, in the meantime, also talk about this brief phone conversation that seems to have happened as far as the interview of President Trump is concerned, because for now, he seems to have refused to discuss the specifics of the ongoing search and rescue efforts in Iran after allegedly an American jet was downed by Iranian forces. Asked if today's events will affect any negotiations with Iran, President Trump says, no, not at all. It's war, and we are in this war. And according to President Trump, we are winning this war. Let's get an understanding from Mr. Arasan Singh as well. Sir, good morning. Is America now really winning this war in the last 24 hours? All of these incidents seems to have been taken place.
No, out of 6,000, 7,000 sorties, one hit here and there really, is not such a big setback as such. But I don't know on what mission was this aircraft. And credit to them that they have been able to rescue one pilot using their helicopters, etc. But the other message is also that, however rudimentary, I don't know, but Iran retains the capability, the air defense capability. But whether it will change, no, it will not change the course of war as such, because by and large, they have, if not air supremacy, the Americans do enjoy air superiority. Otherwise, so many sorties would not have made successful missions so far. So not reading too much into it, but yes, for Iran, it makes a good publicity news or to those people, to Iranian supporters across the world. Well, they may tout it as an achievement, but nothing more than that. Nothing more than that. I don't read too much. My only worry is that, not worry, I mean, my assessment is that, if some pilot is caught alive,
Yes, sir.
Then they will use him as a, bargaining chip.
Yes, sir, because it will give, a leverage to Iran as far as setting its own terms and conditions, because President Trump has been saying that if Iran does not agree to their terms and conditions, then the next 2 to 3 weeks, they're going to turn into hell for Iran. Thank you very much, Arison, sir, for joining us here on the incident, on this broadcast, because this very incident seems to have also marked the first time that a U.S. aircraft has been downed over Iran during the current conflict. Let's talk about the Revolutionary Guard Corps of Iran, because now they have been saying, and this is a clear-cut warning, what you do to us, we will do exactly the same with you. Any attack on Iran's bridges, power plants, energy infrastructure, IRGC says, will immediately prompt strikes not just on all US and Israeli assets in the region, on also key holdings of the US allies and host nations, harder, more devastating than before, and will strike US-Israeli economic infrastructure and assets in the region. So Iran seems to be warning of devastating retaliation, and this seems to be now the approach that Iran mainly, which is now governed with the IRGC, seems to be issuing this warning. So what is this warning that has been now talking about? Let's in the